Hey everybody, it's Georgiana with Expressions Craft Studio. Welcome back to week 7. And today we're going to be making just four. I'm trying not to do as many as I was. Christmas cards with using up some of my scraps. Now, I say scraps, these are elements, I guess technically, but they are actually made with wrapping paper, and I've showed you some samples of these before. Um, Basically, I ran a piece of cardstock through my Xyron sticker maker, um, and then applied the wrapping paper to the top of that, and then I cut them out with a die. And so you can see it gives you some really interesting looks, and it's just another way to use up those scraps of paper. And since I'm partial to the foils and the things like that, the flocks and the foils, you get some really pretty embellishments, if you will, or elements. So these are things I'd previously cut out a couple years ago, and I just pulled them out of my stash. And we're going to put them together. And um, this will be week 7 for Project Miss Cheer, which is for the Angel Card Project, and is as well as some Christmas cards for the Cards for Soldiers program. So we're going to put these together, and hopefully it won't take too long. I've already laid everything out. The only thing different we'll need to do is once we get them together is I'll have to pull out some sentiments from my little sentiment booklet from a couple years ago. And I think there's some in there that'll match really nicely. So let's get started. I think we'll do this one last because it's going to be the most complicated. So I'm going to set him over here, and we'll start with this one here first. So we're going to get out our glue, and I just kind of want to center this. Now, for some reason, they seem to have a little bit of cat fur on them. And you may notice on this one, when I removed it from the die, it kind of tore part of or at least it looks like it tore part of the snowflake, but then again, maybe that's just how it is. So we're going to center this, and then we're just going to glue it down. I just want to get all of the little little dirty bits or eraser bits, I guess, because I was just erasing some stuff. Kind of want to probably move this back over this way a little. And I'm going to flip it around here. And I'm just going to lift this edge up. But first, let me get my ink, or not my ink. I see it's going to be another day where words are a struggle for me, so I'll go ahead and apologize for that now. Get my glue, and we're just going to pick this up just a little bit. I don't move it since I got it right where I want it. And yet that's exactly what I'm doing. Okay, I give up. We're just going to glue down in a few places. Now you could run this back through your Xyron and then run it through your die cutter to help release all of the excess sticky so that it doesn't show up through the holes. That's just a lot of work, and I don't feel like doing that. So it does work. I've done it once. Saw somebody's video. I'm sorry, I don't remember who, and they had done it, and it looked a lot better. But I'm trying to keep these videos a little shorter. So I need to go up a little bit, probably over a little bit. Okay, let me grab my block real quick. We'll just help that start drying. So give that a few seconds. And then we'll attach, oh, and see, I didn't get it. At the bottom of this snowflake is just off of the edge. I don't know if you can tell. It's just barely off the edge of the card. I think it's already too late to slide that up a little, so that's where she's going to stay. So just one at a time here. Let's start with this one. I should have heavier weight cardstock because this is pretty flimsy. But I was just testing it out, and this lightweight index cardstock was what I had at the time. Before I understood the difference in the weight, that whether or not it's index or cover or all of that. And I would love to be able to explain that to you, but I don't still really understand it. However, I'm sure Google will be very informative if you decide to ask it. Oops, sorry about that. Tap my mouthpiece a little bit. There we go. This one's not quite as flimsy because it's got those stars in the middle. Oops, drop my glue. All right, I'm just trying to get these to kind of fall down naturally into place. So they're straight more or less. Get a little bit of glue under those leaves, or petals I should say, since they're kind of pulling up a little bit. And I know I didn't get the bottom of it completely glued because I knew I was going to come back and check, do a little spot gluing if I needed to. Looks a little crooked. Got a little extra glue on that one. Just going to peel that up and flip my block over. All right, so we got the front of this one ready. Slide that off to the side, and we'll start putting this one together. So this one, I am going to put it right on the edge because I don't know how well you can see it, but the tip of that star kind of got torn off, or I didn't have the die centered. I'm not sure which. So we're going to just put it on the edge so that I can just trim it off. And I want to line that up pretty close though. So let me just pick it up so I can see it a little bit better. There we go. And this time I'm just going to start at the bottom with this star, or snowflake, I guess is what it actually is. That's a big blob of glue there. Just spread that out a little bit. Well, I just think I moved it. Doggone it, no matter how hard I try. Well, that looks all right. So bring that snowflake down. Let's give it a little press. Bring my block over. Just hold that down for a second. And we come back and look at this one. And I think that looks pretty good. So it needs a sentiment. Of course, they all need sentiments on the inside because I haven't gotten around to doing that yet. I might just spend week 8 putting sentiments on the inside because by then I will have 80 some cards roughly, or right about there. Maybe 79. I don't know. We'll see. Because I've 75 and this 4, so yeah, it would be 79. So maybe next week we'll just put cents on the inside. But isn't that pretty? It's pretty simple, but pretty. All right. So let's kind of pick this one up where we can. Sometimes it's easier to do it this way and actually pick the card up. Will be hard for you to see, but Just putting a little bit of glue. We'll hold that down for a second. I will say one thing about the foiled paper. It didn't cut quite as well in my die cut, my Spellbinders Platinum 6, as well as I would have liked. And it might just be that I didn't have my sandwich right. So I made these like 2 Christmases ago. So I will be attempting that again very soon because we just put our Christmas decorations away. Had to wait till after the Super Bowl. And I got my husband to pull out our old wrapping papers. And so I was able to find some of my pretty foils and stuff from previous years. So I'm excited. We'll be doing a lot of those projects in the future where I actually take the Christmas paper and turn it into either elements for the cards or the front of cards or whatever. I don't know why that keeps doing that. Talked in another video about how my glue bottle kind of erupts, and I don't know what makes it do that. But all right, so let's try and tack down our snowflakes here. I'm going to grab my tweezers. I want this one kind of right here, I think. And so let's see if we can grab right there. Yep, see, there it goes again. It's almost like it's siphoning. I don't know if you guys ever have had to siphon gas out of one car to put in another car. I don't think too many people do that anymore, especially with EVs all over the place. But um, back in the day, especially during the gas crisis of, I believe it was the 80s, um, sometimes you had to do what you had to do. Maybe the gas station didn't have any gas and you had to mow the lawn, so you had to get some gas out of the car to be able to mow your lawn. Yes, I'm talking about the good old days. All right. No matter how much I brush stuff away, I still find little pieces of debris that end up getting everywhere. Oh, see, it even actually erupted onto my mat. It's most discouraging, let me say. So this one's not even the best shape, but I'm going to use it anyway. And just kind of spread that big glue dot around. I don't know, maybe somebody can tell me what's causing my glue bottle to always want to erupt. Maybe I'm using it too hard when I'm trying to get to glue something. I don't know. I have never heard anybody else talk about how their glue is always erupting. All right. Oh, I didn't do my dry fit, but that's okay. I think we'll just put him like right in here somewhere. Yeah. Let that sit for a minute. So we'll do this guy. Yeah, see all these little bits of whatever they are. I thought I saw some little hairs on the, oh, there they are. Like, when you run something through your die cutter, front and back, instead of just one way. I get these little hairs sometimes, but I always like to make sure I get a good solid cut, so. Okay. Let's grab a hold of that guy, and we're going to put him right down here in the corner, like so. Oh, that's a big, big eruption. It's like Mount Vesuvius. Oh, no. Mount Vigluvius. Okay, I really had to think about that, so I'm not sure it was all that funny. Come on. Lots of little pieces, parts. All right. A little bit of extra glue there for sure. I'll hold that down for a minute or a second. I always say a minute, but it's really not a minute. A minute's actually kind of a long time if you're waiting for something. Okay, so I think I had this guy up here and this guy over here, something like that. Or maybe we like it better like this. Oh, and have him kind of cutting off the edge. Then I can trim him. Let's do that. So let's glue this guy. Oh, look, another big eruption. Can you see that? I don't know what I'm doing that's causing that. Got a hair in my glue. My hair's not long, but if it's that short, I know it was the cat, so. She doesn't get in this room as much as she did the old one. Okay. So this one, I'll find the best part of this snowflake. It's got another little extra piece on it. I think that does too. Yep. Sorry about that. I did that yesterday, and when I went back and edited, I realized that's really loud when you're doing that in the mic, so I apologized. I will try to remember not to do that. There's another hair. It's not actual hair, it's a paper hair. So something like that maybe. What do we think? I think it's all right. Maybe down a little bit, not so high up. Oh, yeah, I can see more from the back. I should have used my little toothbrush. I don't see it in front of me, or I would grab it real quick and Oh, there it is. Actually, I'll use this brush. It's a little softer since these are kind of a little flimsy since I use such thin cardstock. It pulled off one anyway. Let's see here. Oh, see, I see some there, some there. So since I cut these, I've purchased the Magic Mat from um, scrapbook.com, and it is a little bit better about not leaving these little papers behind because, well, I think because your stuff doesn't tend to slide on uh, the plastic plate as much because it gets kind of pressed into the Magic Mat. Got a couple more off of there. All right, let's glue. If I can find my, there we go. Oh, man, it's really, oh, found another paper hair. Don't, that didn't want to come off of there. So we'll just leave it. That didn't help. Okay. Well, that's the one that's kind of not as pretty. So let's do it off the edge. Actually, that might be the glue that I'm back there. I'm gonna grab a wet wipe. See if I cannot figure out what is going on with my glue bottle. It's kind of like if you use, at least when I do it, mousse in my hair. I don't do it very often anymore. How that just keeps kind of coming out. Yeah, even before I get the pen back in it. All right, so I think we can do a little trimming here. Probably should wait for the glue to dry, but I rarely do what I'm supposed to. There we go. Clean that off. Yeah, that's pretty. Slide that over there. All right, so this last one, I'll do something a little different with this one because I really wanted to try and do acetate on the card. Now, I think what I'll do first is I will adhere the acetate to the top of the card. And I'm going to use a tape runner. Except I think I just used all that was in that one. Well, I hope I have another one. pretty sure these are refillable, but I haven't been able to find just the refills. So if you know where the AdTech Crafter Tape permanent refills are, please let me know. I'm going to pause this while I grab another one. Well, I didn't have another glue runner or tape runner. I thought I did, but I didn't. So we're going to use this double-sided tape. And where's my... It just uses a nice straight edge to help me rip a straight edge on my tape. Butt this one up to that one. And we'll do that again. While I got the out, I might as well do this piece too. This is going to go along the bottom of the acetate. More. Now I could have used glue, and maybe I'll put a little glue on top of the tape, just because it does help the piece still be able to slide around a little bit in case you didn't line it up properly. But glue also takes longer to dry on the acetate or any non-porous surface. So let's grab my little homemade pen tool, or whatever you want to call it. Pick tool. I think Pen made them for people who were doing tumblers. I think that's where I got that term. I haven't done tumblers in a while, so I can't say it for sure. I will put a little bit of glue just because. Probably don't really need it, but so what I'm going to do is I'm going to line up my acetate at the top of the card, and I want to make sure I get it straight on the edges since I pre-cut it. And I'm just going to fold this flap over, and then I'm going to put my block on it for a few. And while that's drying, let's do the bottom of the card as well. Now actually, I should trim the bottom of the card. So let me just go ahead and prep this. Now I will try to put links. I sometimes forget what I've used, but I will try to put links for anything I've used, comments if anybody's interested. Obviously you're not obligated. I'm just using stuff that I already have. But if you're interested, the links will be in the description. If I mention something that I forget to post a link for, you can always ask, and I'll do my best to find that information for you. I'm just trying to get that unstuck from my finger. And I want to see about just trimming this, but I'm not sure it's worth it. It's really not sticking out that much, so I think I'm worried about it. Anyway, as I was saying, I try to remember to put all of the links in, but I do sometimes forget. I didn't get that straight despite my best efforts. And I'm really just lining it up with the card, the back of the card on the bottom here. Okay. Anyway, those are the Amazon links are affiliate links. The only other affiliate link I have is for digital images, and I'm not using any of those today. So Might need to use my bone folder here. Card doesn't really want to lay flat. That's a little better. So hopefully it will kind of stand up now. Oh, there I go doing that again. Apologize. Apologies. Apparently that glitter made a little impression on my acetate. So now I'm going to put this little angel here. It was also from my stash. I'm going to put her in the background, I think. Put another one of these snowflakes kind of over the top. I don't want to cover her completely. And I might put this one up here and leave some of it to cut off. Now I've got a couple of sentiments that I did pull out of my stash that I made a couple years ago. And these are digital prints that are matted then on a cardstock layer, and then I just um, wipe the edge of the piece through my Versamark and then embossed it with gold. And this one is actually foiled. So it was digitally printed on my laser printer and then foiled. And then this piece in the back, this really pretty gold piece, that again is wrapping paper. So now I have to decide which one I want to use. I'm going to just hold that down there like that. And I mean, I could go back, you know what, I could even put the smaller one here and the bigger one up here. That doesn't cover her up too much. And then I've got this nice corner here for the Merry Christmas. I pull that out a little bit more. And I'll probably use dimensional sticky tape pieces or whatever on the back of this just to pop it out a little bit. And I think that'll be good. And then I'm going to put a plain piece of paper on the back, of cardstock on the back, so if somebody wants to write, you know, a message to someone, they can certainly do that. So let's get to gluing. Just check this for paper hairs, and I don't see any. Oh, there's one. Otherwise, it looks pretty good. Well, of course, the closer I get to it, it looks good because my eyes are bad. Oh, it looks like Lou's doing again. I'll just spread that around. Just get a little bit on the tips of those stars. I think I just got a notification for one of my crafty friends that I like to watch, but I could be wrong. It could just be junk mail. But it's about that time of day when she comes live. But I can always watch her on the replay. It's the great thing about replays. All right, I think that's good enough. Now, let's see here. I want to put it right about there, I think. And put our block on there to hold it. A little extra glue. Okay. Oh, do I got hairs on here? I do. Okay, so I'm just gonna, let's see here. I want to pull that off a little bit because I don't want it quite so, yeah. I'll glue that down. So I was trying to decide while that's drying, but I'll show you. Pull out my Christmas sentiments file folder from a couple years ago. And I went through first and looked at the blue ones because obviously the cards are blue, but nothing was really calling my name. And not for this card anyway, mostly because of the size of them. And I'm pretty sure I printed all these sentiments out on photo paper. And then I cut them out and back them with cardstock. And I ink dyed around the edges a little bit just to give it, just kind of make it pop off the card some. So anyway, I see I've got a bunch of them here. Now this one was printed on cardstock. But this one, I don't know what I was thinking with that one. I mean, you can read it, but it's not easy to read, and it's kind of just looks like a big blob, so I probably won't use that one. But those were all of the blue ones, but I did find these others in here that I liked. I have some green ones that have a green foil cardstock behind them, and then some of them are actually just foiled. That's on a pearl paper with a pen. My Cricut wrote that out, so I thought that was pretty. Christmas wishes, and another Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. It doesn't go in that stack. So I had some more that I didn't pull out. That's okay. You don't really want to see all of these. Anyway, I've got them in reds, and then I've got a whole bunch of these little red and gold and green Merry Christmases. Way too many of those. Once I start doing something, I just tend to mass produce. What else is in here? Oh, here's the other gold ones that I had, which really were my favorites. At the end of the day, of course, the first ones I did, but by the time I was done, these were absolutely my favorites. Again, it's kind of hard to see. I have several shades of gold foil, so I trim them all out. I also found these, which are cut out of uh, iron-on embossing, or not embossing, flocking material, which I have from years ago. So I cut those out on my Cricut and then actually weeded it off and then ironed it onto this green cardstock. And I think those are really neat, just not for this card. So I've got some of those. And I think that's pretty much it for sentiments. I got a couple more angels in there. So let's trim off that snowflake. I don't know why I put my pen or my scissors back. I'm going to need them. And do I need to trim anything on the bottom? Not really. I think it's all right. Boy, this acetate does like to pick up stuff. I guess that's glue. Okay, well I can get that off later. So let's glue our angel down before I forget where she goes. So I just kind of wanted her to show up in the background. I'm just going to lay that there to hold the card still. And I'm going to hold her still and pull her back and use my glue blob to glue down the top portion of her where I can get the most effective surface contact. Let's let that dry for a second. While I'm doing that, let's put some dimensionals on this piece. do one on each end of this. And then do one in the middle. So let's go ahead and finish gluing her down. Which isn't going to take much. It's just a matter of getting the glue to cooperate with me here. Which, there we go. Wasn't even sure it was coming out. I can't see it that well. Hold that down. Peel off our backing. Did that one come off? I don't think it did. Now it's off. I'm going to add a little bit of glue to these, just in case I need to slide it around a little bit. And do any of these swings need a little bit more glue? I think they do, yeah. Let's see here. What's my best angle? Let's go here. I don't like to actually put a bend in it, so usually if I can just up a little bit, it tends to work out pretty well for me. Okay. Give that a quick press. Put my pen back in my glue bottle. All right, so far, this is what we got. Looks like I got some glue that hasn't completely dried yet. And I kind of like this right over here. It's, well, not quite perfect, but perfectly straight, but it'll work. Okay. So then I will add a white piece of cardstock. I'll probably cut it out in a nice die piece, and so they could write their message. But there you go. And then it should stand up and people can see their angel through the transparency. There we go. Now, transparency is pretty flimsy, so I don't know how long it'll stand up, but it will stand up. So that one's, except for the thing on the back, that one's pretty ready. So now we do need to find sentiments for these three. So I'm going to go back to my little binder, and I am going to pull out, well, we can go through the blue ones. I don't think I'm going to like any of them, but won't know for sure until we see them on here. This one's really big, and it might be all right in the center of that one, actually. This one's a little bit smaller. Could put it there. Not sure I like it, though. Let's see. Maybe even just this one. That's not bad. Oh, this one's not either. It's really essentially the same thing, just a different background paper, but that one, actually, because it's got more white on the base, it tends to stand out a little bit better. Oh, I don't dislike that one. I'm still not sure about that one though. But again, the white base on that does kind of make it pull away from the background. So the question is, do I like it with the green or the red? And honestly, that just kind of feels a little small after having that other one on there. I don't know. I kind of like that one better. What do you guys think? I realize you can't talk to me since this is recorded, but that's going to feel too small. That's the same as that one. I kind of want to make them a little different. I could do this one. No, I like that one. It's big, but I like it. Unless I find something else I like better, which is always a possibility. I'm not going to pull out the ones with the green. Well, I say that, but then there's this. Do you think the green and the blue are I don't know. That might be too much full. I mean, it's not for me, but it might be for somebody. That one. Put my thing down here. Or that one. I just did. Oh boy. Now I can't decide. I can't decide. I'm just going to leave them both out. But I don't think I want the other green ones. But I'm looking at them anyway. Well, this is a much smaller one, but I think it's too small. If it's going to be, yeah, it's too small for what's on there. That's not right. The red ones, no. Well, let's go to those gold ones because I do think those are spectacular. You know what? I say that and then I pull out one of these. Oh, I don't think it looks right on there, but it is pretty. Not for this card. So you're going back in there, Mr. Iron-On Flock. And we're going to look at these gold ones. Oh, how pretty is that? Or this one. Won't cover up quite as much of the snowflakes. Oh, that's not bad either. What else do we got in here? I don't really want to go any smaller than that. And most of them are smaller than that. That one's about the same. Let's see here. Of course, if I get it straight, that would help a lot. Add some, what do you call that? Some glue. I'm trying to think of a clever word. I do like that, and it doesn't cover up as much of the snowflake, so that's nice. This one's got cute little candy canes and little, that's not bad either. And then there's this one, which is, I believe, the exact same size as that. It's actually a little bit bigger, so I think it's too big because it really covers up a good chunk of that beautiful snowflake. So as pretty as it is, I'm going to go with one of these two. Do I want that one? That's nice. So what do we got? Oh, but it might be nice over here too. Although I could go smaller with this one because it's got a nice busy background. So I could even come down here in the corner with that one. That's not bad. Or if I want to keep it in the golds, that's not bad either. Let's see here, do I want a green? I don't think I want the green, so I'll skip anything that's got green on it. Obviously this one is way too big, that covers up everything. But that one's actually quite big too. So it's either this one. Nope, I'm going back to this one. I think that's the one. So that makes me happy. So we'll put these away, save them for another session, and put this away, and the blues, and this, and the greens. Okay. And I do think we need our dimensionals again now. Do we want to just get the dimensional tape, or just use these dimensionals since they're right here? I think we'll do that. I have lots of these, so I don't mind using them. Now let's pull up some of this stuff, this outer edge piece, because there's no point in wasting it. It's the same as the dimensional pieces, it's just cut differently. There we go. Let's pull off all of our backing. Yeah. So I started talking about this little tool a while ago, and I don't know if I finished telling you. It is just a mechanical pencil, and then because I had so many, and hand stitching needle, once again, because I have so many, not just mine, but my mom's and my grandmother's, and probably even some from my great grandmother. It just took me longer to find the size that fit in here well without falling out or without getting stuck. Um, but once I did, it works really neat. I like it. So I think I'm gonna, well, I think I just need to try and get straight. I'm not gonna mess with that glue. So I kind of feel like that's pretty straight. To my crooked eyes, it looks straight. Okay, that's card number 2 completed. Let's do the same for these guys. So do this one here. And you probably don't have to use as many of these as I do. I just like for it to be a nice kind of level surface without having too much give in the middle. Although this tag is pretty stiff, so it's probably okay. So I'm just going to cut the other piece of this off and run it down the middle. And there's a piece on the other side. I might as well do the same thing with that. And it looks like I might just put one here in the middle. Just because. Take off our backing paper. just like to make sure I got them all, and I did. Okay, so I think with this guy, we were putting him down here in the corner, weren't we? So just try to line him up straight with the edge, and that's pretty good. Now, I'm wondering if I should cut that little bit off there, just because if somebody wanted to stand the card up, it kind of wants to lean back a little. It's just sticking off just a little bit. There we go. Better. Card 3. So let's finish with card 4, and we will be done for the day. All I'll have to do is put my my stickers on the back and my butterflies. I might want to just cover that part up. That might be what I was thinking. Although I had it down here. Nah, let's, yeah, let's just put it there. Okay, I'm just going to run this big piece straight across the back. Again, this is just a piece of the edge. I'll put some up here at the top. Oh, got that a little closer to the edge of the tag than I wanted it. I think that'll be good. Take off our papers. Okay, I'll put this up here. Just want to, there's a little bit of white where the cardstock showed through. I don't think you see it, but I can see it. So I'm just gonna try and cover that up a little bit. Now, I don't think it's straight. It is definitely not. Please don't be stuck. Not yet. Well, I think you're stuck now. Okay. Put a few of my things away here. Got some glue on my scissors. I have my trash can right underneath me, and yet I still manage to drop stuff on the floor, even though I'm aiming for the trash can. All right, let's put those away. It feels little like gritty pieces, and it's probably the glue from me rubbing my fingers together to get rid of the glue. But here's card 1, and with the acetate back or acetate front, and it will stand up. And I am going to add a piece of cardstock. I was going to do white, but I might just do light blue, a very light blue, that somebody can write on. So that's card 1 for week 7. Found a piece of trash. Here's card 2. And again, this has got my wrapping paper, the blue snowflakes, and the gold on the background here of the border piece or background piece, whatever you want to call it. So that's card 2. Here's card 3, and all of these pieces were in my stash, cut from previous years, and I'm just trying to use stuff up so I can kind of downsize some of my supplies and maybe make room for more. Who knows? So that was card 3. Let's see here if you can see those. And card 4, which has got glue on the back. And again, all pieces from my stash. Now I did print this one out on photo paper on my inkjet, and I then inked around the edge and then glued a background piece on it. So there you have it. That is cards for week 7, and that will put me at 79 cards at the end of 7 weeks. So thank you for joining me. I hope I kept this one shorter than I have in the past, and I look forward to seeing you again. I appreciate your patience with me, and if you have any questions, just don't hesitate to ask. I'm happy to answer. Thank you so much. Happy crafting.